James Crook, all things for massage business champions. And this is my second Ask Me Anything. And I suddenly realised that we were doing some sound checks before, and it makes absolutely no difference whether I've got this in or out.
It's just a show.
Yeah. I'm realising that I don't work the system properly. Anyway, welcome everybody. Please, I'm just going to give you a few moments because I know people will be slowly tapping in and coming into the into our space on Facebook. So you'll see when you get in here that you should have a chat box on the top right that will show you the way. Oh, there we are, Jeffrey. We were just talking about you. I've got looking at a question on TikTok that we will answer. So you'll have a look over at that top. Oh, damn it, that way. To make sure that you can actually write in comments. Please feel free to write comments. We'll have them down at the bottom of the screen and we'll be able to filter them. And James, over the next 60 minutes or 58 minutes, will be able to unpack them for us. It's all going to be recorded, so if you have to go for some reason, but you might miss a gem in the whole process, if you have to go, at least know that you'll be able to get the recording and have a listen to it later on. James, we were having a chat. James is from Australia, another fabulous practitioner. This is two Aussies that I've done in a row. And he is from Geelong in Victoria. And we were talking about how long he's been in the industry. James, 20 years?
Yeah, 20 years. I know. It sounds like a long time. I guess it kind of is. But when I think about it, I say 20 years because I officially started my business while I was still studying. So I did originally study journalism and writing, but then I came back and did visual design and graphic arts. And it was while I was doing that I actually started officially making websites. And that was like my very first foray into starting a marketing business. But back then, honestly, I knew how to do the tech work, but I wasn't particularly good at actual business or anything. I was just finding clients and doing a bit of work here and there. But over time, that pretty quickly grew into a career. And 20 years later, it's like, wow, that's amazing.
Isn't that funny that we talk about that? Because we're just saying earlier, what happens when you first get out and you complete your diploma or your Cert 4 or whatever you're doing, your certification hours, depending on what country you are listening to from here, when you complete your massage, you are just grabbing for anybody. You're like, we'll watch people walk along the street and try to pull them into your clinic so you can treat them. You don't care at all about your perfect client, yeah? So we had a chat really early, you and I, when I was in the six-figure therapist group, and you talked about an avatar. Can you explain to people what the heck an avatar is? Because I know the movie, but I'm pretty sure...
The movie Avatar, yeah. That's probably even more interesting. But yeah, look, it's a core marketing concept, and it is a good one to open up a discussion like this, especially as we're getting other questions rolling through. But a lot of people might be familiar with the term like having a niche for your business, or even creating a specialization. A lot of people think of it that way. And an avatar is almost like the flip side of that, the other end of that coin. If you're developing yourself as a specialist in a certain area, you're growing a reputation doing that, you're getting a lot of experience and hands-on skills in a specific area, part of what you need to think about is, well, who is it that I'm actually serving with this specialization? Who's at the other end of that treatment? And that's essentially what we call the avatar. It's a typical or a standardized kind of person that you might think of as your ideal client, your perfect client. And in marketing terms, when we're designing things, when we're creating marketing, if it's like bigger campaigns and stuff, you have very specific avatars. You have like, this is Jane, she's 34, she's got 2 kids, she works in the city, doing this, that, whatever. And then the idea is that when it comes to actually doing your marketing, to writing an ad or putting some posts up, you can think specifically about that person. And it just helps us in our minds to kind of connect the dots and create something that's very connective. Instead of sounding too formal or too kind of distant, we just sort of imagine that we're speaking literally to this one person, and it helps all of that marketing language and process to flow a lot better. Because you all know how to speak to someone who is there in the clinic room with you, right, Paula? If Jane's on the table and asks you a question, you know how to speak with her.
Yes.
So when you start thinking about, well, what would it be like if she was asking me if I should come in for treatment, or what it means when my shoulder's sore or whatever, sometimes thinking about a specific person just makes it easier to do that. So, we very much recommend people develop an avatar and, give them a name and an age and that kind of stuff as part of the process of developing that niche and that specialisation.
Yeah. And in fact, they're really cool that you talk about that, because my specialisation, as many people know, is neuro-lymphatic point work. So I went with the thoughts of like Chapman's reflexes, getting the nerves firing, powering to the muscles, stability, joint pathologies kind of reduced, all that kind of stuff. And the focus was how to deliver the product of the treatment and the outcomes. And when I thought about it, I didn't really think about how I was going to actually talk to the people that I wanted. I realised that the people that I'm after are really, they're at a certain age level. And it might be a little bit broader because massage therapists are a little bit more widespread than, say, in a marketing firm where you might be targeting people who are going to eat muesli or Cocoa Pops. And then it's about designing how I'd like to hear it if I was the therapist who wanted to learn something. So I kind of turned it on myself and went, all right, I'm probably the avatar that I would be liking to be as my perfect therapist to come and work with me. So I really get that. It's a great way to do it. Great way to start.
It's very natural too. We often do treat or connect with who we were before. It's like, for example, my wife Alicia, she's the therapist, and she had back surgery when she was a teenager. She had scoliosis, and so when she came to doing treatments, she didn't think to herself, I'm going to be a specialist in whatever. It just kind of happened that she'd had that experience, so it was very natural for her to connect with and attract other people who'd had more sort of complicated cases, complicated bodies. And so she, over time, developed a specialisation, and I kind of put that in inverted commas because she didn't do any one specific big training to do with that. But that's actually a bit of a myth and a mistake that people make. They think, well, if I want to be a specialist, if I want to be a leader in treating complicated cases, I'll do some amazing course on it, and then everyone will know that I'm the specialist. Yeah. But the truth is, you might have the skills and become a specialist inside, but no one will know still. You still have to do the actual marketing to get out there and show people that you're a specialist. And if you think about it, you probably don't even realise, but the people you currently think of as being experts or specialists in any field, think about it for a sec. How do you actually know that they are? And if you think about how you know, it's probably because you saw an article from them in a magazine, or you read a book that they wrote, or you heard about them on a podcast or a live stream or whatever. And suddenly you go, oh, right. So it's not just the skills, it's I need to be actually able to do that promotion, that marketing, and those visible activities to get that specialisation out there to be seen. And then once the ball is rolling, it kind of gathers more moss by itself too. If you become known as a sports therapist, then more sports people come to see you, so you get more experience, you discover more about how it works. It's very natural to kind of create that specialisation just from having more of the work as it comes along, and it all builds on top of itself.
Exactly. I remember watching one of those music, the voice type thing, and Michael Bublé was talking, and he was one of the presenters when Guy Sebastian came up. And Guy Sebastian was running through, he was singing. And at the end, Michael Bublé said, do you know what? You are a far, far better singer than I would ever be, but my marketing train is where I am today. And you're right.
Exactly right. Yep.
Because there's hundreds of really good therapists out there, but get yourself out there and get yourself known. That's the hard work.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping that people are going to ask some of those questions about those little steps. But we've got one from Jeffrey. We've actually got two from Jeffrey, because one of the ones I kind of like is he said, what TikTok and marketing.
How do you get clients from TikTok?
Yes.
Oh, look, TikTok took off so much during COVID. Like, I reckon before COVID, it was around, but it was mostly young people, and it was, people had heard of it. But what I saw was COVID hit and everyone who was stuck at home suddenly was jumping on this new TikTok thing and laughing at all the funny things and trying to do all the dances. And it went from being something that teenagers were really into to something that, like, you know, lots and lots of people were into. So, of course, then the teenagers have to leave, right? They go somewhere else. But it's been massive. As far as marketing goes, it's a great platform to just connect, you know, to, like anything that's social. If you do something interesting and it gets lots of views, it'll kind of snowball and you'll get that viral effect. Mm. However, from a purely a marketing sense, especially for massage therapists, it's not really ideal. Like, even getting 1 million views on a video is not fantastic if you're running a clinic that really you're only drawing clients from that kind of maybe 30-minute radius around your clinic. You know, people aren't going to drive across the country to see a massage therapist, no matter how good the dance on TikTok is. So it's sort of like great to have a bit of fun with. If you happen to be into it anyway, like, no reason not to show off and show where you work and all that kind of stuff. But I wouldn't be recommending it as like, go and use TikTok specifically, mostly because of that geographic thing. It's just not got the kind of control over geography or the reach specifically like that to be really effective.
Could you use it as brand awareness?
Well, you could. And see, for someone like you, Paula, who's working globally, that kind of thing might work really well. Maybe you should get on TikTok and do some fun stuff. But even for brand awareness, if you've got like Jeffrey, who runs a local clinic in a suburb, brand awareness, great. But who cares if someone in Brisbane or America or UK knows his brand? Like, it doesn't actually help his business with the model he's got set up right now. And that's the difference. If you're after something that's a little bit bigger, especially if it's that sort of youthful market, it could be really great. But, you know, it's one of those things where if you're going to pick and choose just one social media to work with, it's probably not the one that's going to have the biggest impact at the moment.
Which one would you use? What's the biggest impact right now?
Well, it can come back to avatar, right? This is kind of what we're talking about. But if you've got a client that you know really well, a client base that you know really well, you want to use where they're hanging out. Facebook is still the biggest social media on the planet, just in raw numbers of people on it and usage. And it's pretty sophisticated for marketing in the sense that you can do paid ads. We've got groups. You know, there's all sorts of different stuff that you can do. So Facebook is still really good for most people. It's the number one go-to. But then we've also got things like Instagram. Some audiences are very into Instagram. If you're into gyms and fitness, bodybuilding, that kind of world is very Insta-based. Even different countries, America seems to have a lot more Instagram usage just among the general population than Australia and England do.
And do you see that? I tend to see that if people who are hard fast Insta won't go near Facebook. It's kind of like this.
Facebook's so old school and boring. Once you're into Insta, it's like, what's all this text and stuff everywhere?
Yeah.
And, you know, some people even still use LinkedIn. I have seen some massage therapists who do a lot more corporate work will be using LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a more corporate social media. All of these things kind of evolve over time too. I don't know if you remember back, Paula, but when I first got on Facebook, it was so simplistic. And compared to now, there wasn't that many people or businesses on it, right? So you could kind of like post things and everyone saw them because it was just not that much competition. Whereas now it's so noisy and big, you need to be a bit more strategic to actually get some bookings out of it. There's a lot of factors there. I'm not giving a very straight answer.
And Facebook marketing, how, like, doing Facebook advertising, like through Facebook ads, that changes every moment. And I shouldn't be saying this on Streamy because maybe there are affiliates.
Because we're on Facebook right now, right? Streaming into people's groups. Yeah,
exactly. But I'm hearing that Google Ads might be a better option for getting information out to people that want to come to see you.
Yeah,
Thoughts on
Google
that?
Ads are fantastic. I mean, we might as well talk about advertising for a sec, right? The conversation's going there. The difference with Google Ads is that someone is already searching for services when they go to Google. If they go in and type in massage in Ocean Grove, it's almost guaranteed they're looking for a massage in Ocean Grove, right? That's why they're searching. So what marketers call that is intent. They've got an intent to buy. And so when your ad pops up and they've already got an intent to buy, it's a very simple process for them to click an ad, see that you look trustworthy and they're comfortable booking in and you've got a time slot and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like quite a simple step-by-step for them to create a booking. That doesn't mean everyone will, but comparatively, it's very simple. Whereas something like Facebook or even Instagram or other paid ads, often what you're doing on Facebook is someone is browsing Facebook, they're watching TV at the same time, they've just put the kids to bed, they're having a glass of wine and they're just flicking through their feed, looking for some light entertainment, and up pops your ad for massage. It's not necessarily a direct connection with what they want in that moment, right? They're just wanting to chill out. So you've got to be a bit cleverer with targeting those ads, with making sure that you're speaking to people who are going to actually be open to booking or doing whatever else it is you've got in the ad. And that just means it's a different kind of environment, a different kind of ad, a different kind of prospect you can put out there. However, the flip side is there's only so many people that search in any area on Google, right? So say 20 people search in a week. If you're the only therapist or you're really good at it, you might get all 20 people hit your website and you might get half a dozen bookings out of it or something, that's great. But you can't make more people search. There's no way you can control that. Whereas with Facebook, if you discover a way to connect with the right people and you've got an offer that people love, you can just pay more and push it to more people and potentially scale a bit bigger or a bit more fluidly with that audience, just because of the way it works. You're not relying on the other person starting the conversation.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'm just going to jump down because Jeffrey's got a question. How do you know when it's time to up level from iPhone to
SLR camera? Yeah.
For video making?
So if you're not sure what an SLR is, people watching this might want to know. It stands for single lens reflex, but it means one of those cameras like you would see someone shooting a camera with a lens on the front that you can zoom. Most of those, of even just a fairly amateur level, will do video as well. And it's usually a better kind of quality video than you get from a phone. Having said that, the new iPhones have amazing lenses on them. Like the camera is fantastic. So if you've got like a brand new iPhone 12, I don't think there'd be any reason to go and get an SLR. The difference with an SLR is that you can actually swap the lenses. Like that's kind of how they're designed, right? So, you see at the footy or whatever, and they've got the SLR and they've got that massive like lens that can zoom right across the field. So if you're doing something that's very specific for video, like even for yourself, maybe Paula, if you're trying to video a treatment or a technique, you might use an SLR there just because you've got a little bit more control over the actual lens and the way that you can zoom in and out and focus on things that are really close and all sorts of other bits and pieces. But literally, if you're just doing video for Facebook, you don't need an SLR. Just grab your phone, away you go.
Yeah, I would have thought that. So my usual running around Facebook ad type, so like the "Hi everybody" shout out stuff is just on my Samsung, but same.
Yep.
Same. But they had. I was talking to Eric, or someone who works for Eric Dalton a few years ago, and his clinical application stuff, the videos that he does, he actually has a glass, like a Perspex massage table, so he can put cameras below, above, etc. So you can actually get a really wonderful three-dimensional instructional video on techniques. And to me, like that's where I'd see that you'd need to go up to an SLR. I wouldn't really see, as you said, just in your general marketing. People don't really care that much.
No, that's right. Yeah, it's really not, especially if it's for Facebook. It's usually just like people look at it and then they keep scrolling. It's not such a big deal. Or if they watch it, maybe it goes for a minute or two and then they scroll off.
Yeah, exactly.
And Facebook. Eric Dalton. Facebook even sometimes videos that are too professional looking actually don't do as well on Facebook. It's one of those weird things where they can look a little bit too much like advertising or something that's a little bit more natural, that's got like just very average looking lighting and audio can sometimes actually get better performance on platforms like Facebook. I don't know, it's one of those weird things, right?
Absolutely. I've got a lovely person who's a Facebook user who's saying, thanks for putting it in perspective. If you've got a question, whack it in the chat box so that we can help answer, because we've managed to steal James for an hour.
That's right. Otherwise, we'll just keep talking about all sorts of random stuff. Like, that's interesting, right? But we're better off answering questions.
Totally, exactly. Talking about that specialty and niche market, that again, they're probably two separate things, but I agree exactly. I've got my specialty is the Chapman's. My niche market is the broader group of how I want to assist. Like, so I want to teach you this, but I want to give many, many, many people the opportunity to be able to live within the niche that I'm offering. So that's, specialty services, like a multitude of modalities, these webinars, different interviews with other people, links to research, etc., etc. And that to me is more like we've got the small and then the large. So I'm presuming, and that's with the supercharged membership portal. So that's where I have my two skill sets. And I guess with massage therapists in their clinic, they're going to start with just thinking about the one person that they're treating in the clinic, and then they're thinking about, as you said, that niche. How are they going to be able to service the community? And it might be looking after the mums and bubs. It could be, how do we help? Do we set up a creche in the clinic area to assist parents while they like to get treatments? Any thoughts on that kind of stuff with niches for therapists?
It comes back to specialization and thinking. Some people make the mistake of thinking that they've got to do something special to develop a niche. And it's a really, really common thing when therapists first get out of school and they've been taught a wide range of skill sets and to work with a wide range of things like pregnancy and sports and injuries and whatever. They just kind of go, I'll treat anyone, I don't need a specialization. I want anyone in the door, right? And the challenge with that is that it makes marketing more difficult. The reality is you can treat anyone, but if you talk about the person that you're most going to be able to help, that you most want to treat, if you're openly talking about them in your marketing, then you can get more of those people to come in just because you're speaking that language. And I even remember one of the clients we had a while back, the specialization that she created and promoted for herself was body pain specialist. And I'm like, honestly, any massage therapist could probably call themselves a body pain specialist, right? Like, what do you do? You solve body pain in some way or another. Yeah. So it's not really a terribly descriptive or tight specific niche in as much as actually defining the people. But it's still, if you have a pain and you go to a website and one website says, I'm a massage therapist, I do remedial massage and sports massage and therapeutic this and something or other. And you go to someone else and says, I'm a massage therapist, I'm a body pain specialist. I'm like, well, I've got pain in my body. I'm going to see her. It's all about the kind of, we call it positioning. It's how you position yourself in the mind of the person about to book in.
Yeah,
I can see someone in the comments there. Sorry, Paula, I'm just like charging ahead with this conversation.
Oh, that's right. I'm very balanced. No,
I was just looking at someone in there that's mentioned headaches, neck and shoulders.
Saying that's that niche for them, and it made me think when I used to always try to tell therapists when they start off in their clinic, don't write down specialise in myofascial release techniques, muscle energy techniques, glides, strain cover strain, because no one knows what the hell that is. If I wake up and I've got neck ache, I want to be able to see that. And I had this, one of my cars, when I first started a business, I had a Tribute, fantastic car. It was a Mazda. And on the side of it, I had them I actually had stickers with my old logo, which I've still here. Where is it? There's my little old logo, gorgeous here with the little hands. And it says structural balancing, but it says neck pain, back pain, blah, blah, blah. And then what I did was I actually had neck pain, shoulder problems, sports injuries, and my phone number. And the amount of people that would beep or ring me on my phone while I was driving and say, or I'll be sitting at the set of lights and I'd look down and there'd be somebody going, have you got a card? And I'd be handing my business cards out of
the car window. That's great.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
I love it.
Market what people's injuries are, not what skills you've learned in college.
Because that's their experience. And you've got to remember that the people who are at the receiving end of your marketing don't have the education that you've got. You're exactly right. People in the industry, even the example I said before, people in our industry know that there's a difference between remedial massage and therapeutic massage and sports massage and this and that. It kind of means things at a deeper level. But to someone uninitiated, they're all kind of the same, right? They're just all massage that helps. It's not that specific. And when you start talking about stuff that's got long and complicated names, no one knows anything about that stuff. So you always need to sell the outcomes. You're going to feel better. If you have neck pain, this is going to help. And people go, oh, well, I get that. I've got neck pain and I want it to go away. I don't care what it is you're going to do. Let's just get it fixed.
Yeah, sort that out. And then they don't even want to hear that stuff in the clinic. You're flat out getting them to sit on the chair while you can take history. Because it just
yeah, that's right.
But we need to get over ourselves, like remedial therapists, or if you've done higher advanced diplomas, degree stuff, we've got to kind of get over the fact that you say, I'm better than them because I've got these techniques. And it's rubbish because paid clients, patients, etc., they don't care about the techniques. So you've just got to come back to your target market, the people. And we do this business, we do this job because we love it. We love caring for people. We love nurturing. And you've got to think about them, not your ego. Sorry, I'll get off my
And it's fine to do the techniques. Like if you want to learn how to treat something better, go and learn. But I guess the point is that people won't know what that means unless you talk in their terms. It's like I've gone and studied musculoskeletal manipulation therapy, etc., whatever. Insert all the big complicated words because it's going to help me fix your neck better. It's like, I understand that part. Yeah, exactly. So that.
James, what has been your favourite, most successful marketing campaign?
Whoa, gee, that's a good question. I like my business. I run my business with Alicia, my wife. Lots of people watching might know that. And Alicia is officially the face of the business. She's the one who has her face on most of the ads and things. I'm kind of the second bow or second fiddle. That's the word I'm looking for. But I do all the marketing for our business, most of it now anyway. So I get to kind of do ads that have Alicia speaking in the ad. And there's one that we ran recently, which is a little bit different to a massage one, but it's one for our business, that kind of plays on her being very normal, because she's a very normal person, right? She's not like one of these overly dramatic or overly Instagrammy or overly anything. She's just like a fairly normal person.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of got a photo of her looking just a little bit awkward. It's a photo that she didn't know we were taking. It was just something that came off her iPhone or something, just a very unprofessional shot, just not ugly or anything, but just kind of unprofessional, weird lighting and that. And the ad just starts with something like, I'm just a really normal person, but I got my massage business to run really, really well. And it's kind of that idea of connecting in with people and being one of the tribe. And you can actually do that as a massage therapist as well. You want people to know that you're a health leader, that you're good at what you do, but often telling a story that people can relate to, especially if we're talking about social media here, telling a story that people can relate to will get far better engagement and interaction than something that's educational or that says, hey, I'm better or more knowledgeable than you. And even when we're running the clinic, one of the best things we would do is Leisha would go for a run in the morning, and she just put up a photo of her having just finished a run. And again, it's like sweaty hair everywhere, no makeup or anything, just a normal looking running photo, right? And then it would be like, I run, I'm happy for my health, and I'm a massage therapist, you can book in with me if you want. There's no kind of really hard push in that kind of post, but it's about creating connection and just being one of the people in the community, one of the people around. And so, I don't know, that might be one of my favourites, I reckon. Yeah, the whole I'm normal just like you.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm doing this. I went for a walk today and I'm wearing my Saskatchewan T-shirt because I did a 1 hour walk along the Brisbane River, the boardwalk. It's beautiful down there. I thought, I don't need, and shout out to Paul Buffeld from Saskatoon, because I bought it when I was with them in 2019, 2018, gosh. But I don't need to dress up into something particularly amazing when my spotlight is on you.
Yeah.
or
That's
on my
right.
client.
Yeah.
I need to be professional. I need to be clean. I need to have clean nails and make sure that my clinic is up to scratch. But I don't have to dress up like, Lara Bingham.
Exactly right. And it is about professionalism, but it's the kind of professionalism that you're also exposing to them in the treatment room. Like, I doubt most therapists would spend an entire 60 minutes being very formal and very, dressed up and whatever with someone there in a treatment room. Part of how you make people feel comfortable is to kind of lower your guard a little bit and allow a natural, authentic connection to take place. And so that's kind of what we want to do in marketing as well, especially social marketing, is just have authentic stuff happening and just be authentic and normal in that professional authenticity space. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get back to marketing because we've got to go on everything. But advertising and marketing, it's all the same. How many times a week would you post to market your business?
On Facebook or Insta? Look, it's that's a very specific question. We're like looping right down into the details here. I always think it depends on what you're posting. If you're posting something that's very high quality, and what I mean by quality is not the video quality or anything, but it's a personal post that you might have put a bit of time into writing something that's nice and got a photo of yourself at the beach running. You probably only need to do that maybe once a week, twice a week. But if you are pre-scheduling kind of automated posts, because they're just a little bit less personal and a little bit less valuable to people who are reading them, you probably need to post more often to get the same kind of result from them. So if you're pre-scheduling posts, I'd say do 5 a week.
Yeah, okay.
And then you might do, if you've got 5 pre-scheduled kind of automated posts going out, you might do 1 a week that's a little bit more in the moment, a photo of yourself or even a little video or something, a little live video if you can muster up the courage to do those. 1 of those a week would be great. That's the kind of posting strategy that's going to maybe get some engagement through your feed. On Facebook, though, we also know that right now, business feeds are not the most engaged place.
No,
you can get engagement there, but if you don't have followers already, it's very hard to get people engaged with Facebook business page posts. It's just like it used to be a lot more valuable than it is right now. It can still work, and if you've got followers, it can work. But group posts is the easiest place to just do free posting right now that's going to actually get attention. So if you're part of a local, like even a postcode group or a neighbourhood group, they're really good places to just get to know people. But if you try and post in there 5 times a week, you're going to get banned pretty quick. So you've got to kind of judge the number of posts based on the platform or the area that you're posting in there as well.
Yeah, I remember Lisa talking about, and it really made me think hard. When you're in those groups, you might have somebody comes new to the area, and they say, "I'm new to the area, and I'm looking for an osteopath or a massage therapist, or I've got a child who's got a sore ankle or knee or something," and you see a whole screen of people going, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, and it's like flicking through the yellow pages. So from Lisa's concept, I get in there and I say, "Hi, I'm Paula. I'm a remedial therapist and musculoskeletal therapist. What's the problem? How can I help you understand a little bit more? And I might be able to refer you to the best person to talk to with it." And then it shows that I'm actually empathetic about the cause rather than just trying to plug my own business. And I think that therapists out there, if you are, I say, James is exactly right, get onto your local community groups. And even if you play golf, get onto the women can golf or golf or the tennis group, whatever, and just spend a little bit of time having a look through there. And if people actually generally want some help, generally offer it, because you're building up your own, that they may not live in your area, but they might have Auntie Nell who does, and they'll go, "Look, I had a chat to this person in my community, and I think she'd be great for you."
Yeah, I agree. And being well known is important in communities. If you're in a small town or even a suburb that's a little bit insular, just literally getting your face in front of people regularly, that kind of suburban clique or the small town clique can actually work in your favour quite a lot. Because in the Facebook group, if someone says, oh, I'm looking for a great massage therapist, and you've got like 15 people that all refer to you because you're the one that's always in the group answering questions and connecting with everyone and just making conversation. It's not even about massage all the time, right? But people just know you because you're in there. It's a great way of being able to run that. Some people don't love Facebook either. Like, I kind of feel like I know people will say, oh, but I'm not going to get in Facebook and do all that. And you certainly don't have to. It's a way to make your business work really well, but it's not the only way. And if you really are dead against it and you want to find a different way of finding clients, there's lots of other ways as well. But yeah, we just happen to be talking about social media quite a lot tonight. That's great.
Let's talk about that. There's two ways. And you said about, if you're in a small town or suburb or something, there's other ways to do it. And, I'd like to think two questions I'm asking because I need people to be asking over there. Yeah, there. It's mirrored, everyone, so we're both struggling. One of us is anyway. So one, talking about maybe talking to a coffee shop owner and seeing if you can do a meet and greet or market or advertise something like that. And B, newsletters and trying to get an email list. Talk to me about those. What's it?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a couple of different ideas there, but definitely networking and being seen in the real world is amazing, right? So doing a meet and greet at a cafe or something like that is fantastic. Even just really simple things, like you might have a cafe that you love, that you always get coffee at, and you just say to them, hey, I'm always in here. Could we do a bit of a thing where I want to prepay for some coffees? So I want some coffee cards, essentially. Every card is worth $5 coffee. It's like a gift voucher from the cafe. I'll pay for them, though. And I'm going to give them to my favourite clients, just to recommend that my favourite clients all come down here and every one of them gets a $5 coffee voucher. And the cafe is going to be like, well, sweet, you're paying for these coffees and you're doing marketing for me. Like, this is amazing. You're sending clients my way. And then you go, oh, beautiful. Well, maybe would you also mind putting some of my cards on a little display on your not desk, what's it called, the counter there where people are checking out? And they might say yes, they might say no. Or sometimes in the window you've got those signs you can put up that's like a little A4 flyer about what you do. And all we're really doing is just kind of making connections in a community. And that kind of thing, some people are really good at it naturally. They can't walk into a cafe without learning every person's name, and it's like, it's amazing. And other people find it a bit of a challenge. And just like I said with the Facebook stuff, you don't have to do everything, but you do need to find something that's going to work for you. So if you're like, I don't like Facebook, I like to talk with people in person, then great. Go hit up every cafe in town and go to every gym and dance school and, I don't know, swimming place, just everything, and get involved with the different groups and community people that are out there. One of our clients, I remember she was talking about, she did lymphatic work for cancer patients. Okay. And she was talking about, she was in a small town in central New South Wales, and she was saying she got on to the committee, or, got connected with the committee that did fundraising for the pink ribbon stuff, the cancer fundraising stuff. Yeah. And it's kind of related, but she was able to do some fundraising with them, to donate some treatments for them to do fundraising with. And in return, not like, I don't mean in return as in a direct exchange, but all of a sudden they know who she is. They know she does cancer work, and they're ready to support thing for every cancer person in town. So everyone that comes along with some kind of cancer treatment is suddenly being referred to her, and all she's done is be a nice neighbour, be involved with some fundraising and talk. And it's that kind of stuff that can be really, really good. Just get out there and get connected.
And it's feeling safe with somebody. So, you'll go, I was referring a patient of mine to somebody else, and she said, I would never go and see somebody. It's only because you're telling me and I trust you. So it's that trust that she would have had from her neighbour. There's a couple of questions down there. One was, I was in a local coffee shop and a personal trainer had stickers with special offer on the top of the takeaway coffee lids.
How good is that? I love that as an idea. And that would be one of those personal trainers that's just a natural connector. So they've probably gone into the coffee shop, and I don't know if they've had some kind of agreement with them or if it's just informal. But what they've walked away with is, hey, if I just give you a bunch of stickers, can I put one on the top of every cup with some special offer? And the cafe owner is actually, if you think about it, they are actually getting a benefit from that, because every person who buys a coffee that day gets a free personal training session. And so the cafe owner looks good, right? They're giving away free personal training with every coffee. So it actually is a win for both parties. They both get to actually gain something from that, gaining some reputation or bonus points from their clients. And that's an ideal joint venture when you can make that sort of thing happen. Yeah, I love it. It's a really good idea.
I remember I saw something somewhere, probably on Facebook, saying, I'm going to get set up a cafe, a coffee shop, and I'm going to call it the gym. So people can say, I'm just going down to the gym.
Yeah, that's right. And that would be even better for a pub, right? I'm hitting the gym after work, honey.
Another great question down here. How about networking groups like BNI? They have been good for therapists. Have they been good for therapists? I don't know what BNI stands for.
So BNI, and it's a good question because some people might not know, but it stands for Business Networking International, and it's a very formalised networking group. It's quite common around here where we are, and throughout the world it's one of those global things. But in each area you have a BNI, and the chapter can only have one of each type of business in it, and then they all refer to each other. So you go along to these weekly meetings and there'll be like a massage therapist as well as an accountant and an estate agent and whatever. But the idea is that every time the estate agent is speaking to someone new, they might refer them in for a massage. And every time you're massaging someone who says they want to buy a house, you refer them to the estate agent. So it's like a referral network. It can work really well. We've had some therapists that really do well out of it. Personally, I'm just going to come out and say I never really loved the idea of a networking group where I'm kind of referring to others in the group just because they're in my group rather than because I actually think they're amazing.
Oh, quality, that's right.
Yeah, and BNI does handle that specific thing quite well. They make sure that everyone passes their checks and balances and you get to meet one-on-one with everyone, so you do know a bit more about them. You're not just referring blind. But even on the receiving end, back when I ran my website design agency, it's a very common thing for BNIs to have a web designer because everyone in there is in business. It's a good referral point. And I was always just a bit like, I'm not going to join mine because I don't want other people referring to me, even the other way around. I don't want them referring to me because I'm in that BNI group. I want them to refer to me because I'm the best, right? Because they've had such an amazing experience. So I'm like, I don't want to be too negative about it because they are really good. They're a great way of being introduced to networking if you're not a natural networker, and having a good structure around even learning how to pitch, how to talk about what you do. They've got structures and trainings to help people do that. And then you can get quite a lot of work from them too if you happen to be in a good group, in a good chapter. So some of it can be really good. But I think it's another one of those ones that it might suit your personality or it might not, depending on how you think about things.
I couldn't do a 6:30 a.m. breakfast with two children and, getting them to and from places. It just was limiting for me. And I was a little bit buyer beware. And I don't know whether that's probably quite unfair because I know quite a few people nowadays that are in BNI, and I should have realised it was business, not Brisbane. That they've generated great friendships and, and long-term friendships through it all. So, there's value add to it.
Yeah, that's right.
Newsletters. How do we generate people to come in? How do you get a following of clients?
On email, I mean?
Yeah.
So I would suggest you think of your email as a retention tool rather than a new bookings tool, because most people will not sign up for a newsletter for a business that they're not actually a client of. It's just not that. No one likes email that much, right? No one wants to get more email, especially if you call it a newsletter. It might be different if it's like sign up for special offers and free tips and this and that, because some people might actually sign up for that. But more often, your regular email communications are going to be going out to past and existing clients. So over time, you do build up a bunch of people's email addresses because, of course, you're asking every single client who comes in for the email address as part of their sign up. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, you've got a few hundred, maybe even more. And so sending a regular email out to them is a great way of kind of helping them to feel part of a community, to know what's going on, and to literally just remind them that you exist and to get bookings from it. When we were running our clinic, we would do a monthly newsletter most of the time, an irregular monthly newsletter. And every time we would do it, we would get bookings literally from the newsletter, maybe half a dozen bookings just literally from sending it out. And the newsletters were not big, not detailed, and not particularly sales focused either. It's just like logo at the top, a button that says book online, a bit of a snippet of an article, a photo of one of the staff, and a one sentence bio, and then that's it. Like it can be short, but it's something that's just reminding us, like, oh yeah, that's right, I didn't book in yet this month. Here, there's the button, and they click it and they book in.
Can you do a referral thing, like send someone and they get a free massage or something like that? Is there a way to get them to refer friends and family to the clinic?
Yeah, so this is not with email anymore. We're just talking about referral strategy.
In the newsletter, can you have a coupon in the newsletter, or like that? Is that something that you've done, or it's not really a?
Look, definitely we do talk a lot about incentivizing referrals and creating referral strategies rather than just kind of letting it happen by itself. An email could be part of that, but I wouldn't really think of email as being the most effective way of kind of connecting the dots for someone else. If you come up with a great referral incentive, then email your entire database and just tell them, hey, everyone, if you refer 2 people this month, you're going to get a 50% off your treatment or whatever you might want to do.
Yeah.
But normally what we actually look at as referral strategies is what we see is that the person you often naturally want to incentivize is the referrer. We often think, I'll give $10 off the next treatment if you refer someone to me.
Okay.
But in reality, it often works better to incentivize the other person. So if you're my client, Paula, you already like me, right? Or you wouldn't be one of my regulars. So I give you a voucher to get 50% off the second massage that you can give to a friend. And you don't need to get anything. You just get the kind of the value or the brownie points of being able to go to your mate and say, hey, I've been telling you to go see James for like 6 months. Here's a voucher now, just ready to go and see him. I've got you 50% off, right? And that kind of gives you the relationship brownie points, and it gives them, the other person who hasn't seen me yet, who doesn't know me, who needs a bit more of a push, it gives them the incentive to come in.
Okay.
And so when you start doing that kind of stuff, it might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but that's often how it works better. And what I just said there was second massage half price.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, if you do it that way, I mean, there's lots of ways of doing it, right? People make up all sorts of different things. But we found second massage half price was really good because they have to come in twice to claim that treatment. So, I mean, money-wise, it means you're only offering 25% overall because you've got one full paid one and then one half-price one. Yeah. And also, by the time they've come in twice, you've got more chance of rebooking them again because they know you a bit better, they've experienced you a couple of times, they're already just a little bit more comfortable with what it is that you do. So if they need more treatment, you can continue on a treatment plan from there much more easily.
Absolutely.
So there's a hot tip. That's just kind of one of the things that we've always done and taught for a long time.
No, it's a great idea. Any other little tricks that we could tell them with getting...
Oh, so many. Look, maybe one of the things to talk about, because it does come up quite often, is around discounts. Like I say, second massage half price, that's a discount. We don't really recommend doing public discounting. It's not part of the strategy that I would teach or Leash would teach, because when you start publicly saying, this treatment's normally $90, but it's $60 at the moment, and it's like, well, what's it worth? You know, what's it actually worth? It's only worth $60 if anyone can come along and book it for $60. There needs to be like basic standard pricing that people are happy to pay. You've got to be in a normal price range and be charging what you're worth. That's great. And then we only use discounts when we have a reason to encourage someone to book like that. It's like, give them a voucher. You know how many you're giving out. It's a very controlled way of doing discounting. And essentially what I look at is the discount is your cost of acquisition of that client. It's like paying for an ad, in my mind, because I've got you to give the voucher to your friend for free, but I'm paying, if you think about it in inverted commas, paying that 25% or 50% discount as the price to get that person on the table.
Yeah,
and
that you do
be, yeah, that's right. It might be just like paying for an ad on Facebook or a newspaper or something. You know, it's like I pay $100 worth of ads and I get 5 bookings. It's cost me $20 per booking. Well, it's the same kind of thing. They haven't got a discount, but it's cost me $20 each person. The other way, it's cost me a little discount, but it might have cost me $40 per person or whatever. It's just all about looking at the numbers and then adding them up and seeing which ones are most effective and what you want to do.
And I think that I really like what you're saying about, because I don't discount, but I do like the thought of saying bring a friend in the second treatment, because you're trying to give them a gift of your efforts, but not discouraging the fact that you've got good quality to offer. I think that there's a really clear distinction between the two of them. And Scoop On and all those have actually, not that you see them too much anymore, but remember the old discount people would come in and do 10 for $30 and stupid stuff like that, and it just devalues the actual profession.
Yep, I totally agree. It's I mean, like anything, you do hear the occasional person that did make it work, but by and large, in a service industry like we've got, you can't discount that much and still make a profit on treatments. So what would sometimes happen, you'd hear those horror stories of people putting up really cheap discounts onto Scoop On or whatever it might be, and having like 100 people buy these like super cheap treatments, and then they're working for the next 3 months for nothing, basically, because they just... So yeah, it's not... I guess that's worst case scenario sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, and there's one down here saying, a gift a friend a good massage. So we're looking at gift cards now, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right. And that's the same kind of thing. You can encourage your clients to give gift vouchers, and your clients already know how good you are, so they're actually buying it. It's a bit of an easier approach, but they're giving it to someone who, well, I guess not always, but potentially doesn't know who you are, hasn't had a treatment before. And then some people will just accept the gift, and that's great. They never come back. But every time someone comes in, you've got the opportunity to turn them into a full-time client, a long-term client. And with a gift voucher, you're being paid to turn them into a long-time client. So it's awesome, right? It's great.
It is. That's your marketing strategy, I suppose, too, because you can do gift vouchers for Christmas and for birthdays and for like
Mother's Day.
Yep. Mother's Day. Not that you get
Valentine's Day. So many.
Yeah. There's so many days. So we've got about 7 minutes by my time, but I really liked for you to be able to tell people what you and Alicia offer for therapists, because I know we were talking about building and from a new or from experience up to 6-figure therapists, but I don't know if you actually use that term anymore. But tell us the James and Alicia, how can you help all of the therapists who are dying for help?
Wow, what a question. I love it. Thanks, Paula. I guess the answer to that really comes back to part of our story. Like Leash is the massage therapist. She started over 20 years ago now as well. And when she first started, she was massaging from our lounge room, family and friends, fresh out of studying. And she then rented a room from a chiro clinic. She worked in a day spa. Eventually, she started her own clinic room and made a bunch of mistakes. We got a whole lot of stuff wrong, but just kept going and kept learning and kept growing, and ended up with a 3-room clinic. There was like 9 staff at one point doing over 100 treatments a week. And it was a really vibrant clinic, and also a really intentional part of the community. Like I said, some people are natural connectors. Leash just is. So part of the business was just quite well known and very well connected in the business community as well. And myself, I ran a digital marketing agency for most of that same time. Similar story, actually. I just started doing freelance stuff. I didn't really have a big head for business at the start. I was just doing the tech work. But over time, grew a lot, hired my own staff, had a little team, worked on a lot of national projects as well as local small businesses, even some international businesses. And what we sort of found was we made a bunch of mistakes and had a kind of a slow learning in some places and ways. And so then what we did was we created some trainings to just help other massage therapists to kind of shortcut that whole journey. And so different people are at different stages. Some people might sort of identify with Leisha when she was very first starting, some with maybe when they're just stepping into running a clinic or hiring staff, some with getting the whole kind of management and actually making the whole thing work really well, profitably, saving time. And we just sort of have different programs that help people across all of those different ranges. We also do a whole bunch of free stuff like this. We've got our own YouTube channels and Facebook pages and the group, the Massage Business Support Network. All of that is free. Yeah, that's right. This is streaming in there now as well as a couple of other places. And we've written our book, Fully Booked Without Burnout, which is available on Amazon and in person, all that sort of stuff. Paula's going to pull one out. I should have had one within arm's reach as well. Hey, there you go. Good work, Paula. So I guess all of that is to say we do a bunch of stuff, but really if you are looking for help and you're just wondering, are James and Leisha the right people, there's a bunch of free things that you can do before you have to step into thinking about our paid services. And so I'd encourage you to just connect in, reach out. If you've got questions, just ask us. Have a look at what we do in the support network and all our content on YouTube and on our website and everything. And take it from there. You can learn a lot.
And you've been very, very philanthropic. I think that's like you very gifting. You're people say that about some of the stuff that I do as well. Like I would have over 300 videos on YouTube, and like I think that this is all about giving people skills to. For me, it's giving skills to be able to treat clients and patients effectively and get them pain free. And yours is about getting them to get the clients and patients in the door.
Yeah, better business outcomes.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to just be open with what we do because we've had a lot of support from the community as well, right? As you probably have too, Paula. Yeah. And so it's very easy for us to just be open to share a lot of stuff that we know. Other people share in our groups and that sort of thing as well. There's a lot of value in there from the community. And we are blessed then to receive a lot of that support as well. Lots of people know us and will join our programs, come to our live events, buy our book and all that kind of stuff. It's actually a really beautiful community to be part of, honestly.
It is a really beautiful community. Having been there for a little over 12 months myself to help me get myself up to this level. And the takeaways I think is that, well, Leisha, I feel like Leisha and I are a little bit similar, that you don't mind if you fall down and get muddy, then you just go, well,
back up again, right? Yeah, that's right. And that in itself is a business skill. I know we're talking about marketing tonight, not mindset so much, but being able to just make mistakes and then kind of fail quickly and get over it quickly as well is actually one of the secrets to growing a business.
Exactly. And don't be scared don't wait. I'm waiting. I've got to have the best clinic. I've got to buy all the towels. I've got to just like Leisha, I was the same. I used to treat in the front room of my high-set Queenslander in Albion, and I had chickens, and I never cooped them because I can never coop anything. And the chickens, I could hear them pecking.
That's great. What an experience.
So
it's part of the sound therapy, Paula. It's part of
it's chick therapy.
Chicken therapy.
I do know that you guys go, it's just do it, just start. Yeah?
Yep, definitely. And the quicker you can do things, the quicker you get results. And so even if you do something and you kind of get it wrong and you only get half the results you thought you might, you're still getting half the results, right? Whereas if you wait for ages and get everything perfect, for that entire time you're getting no results at all. Yeah. So it actually works better when you're building a business to just keep moving quite quickly and don't wait till things are finished before you think, I'm going to do all this stuff for like 6 months and then have a launch. It's like, no,
don't
launch
think.
early.
Yeah,
don't think, just do.
think brings fear and a doubt. And you go, oh, hang on, because we all want to do it as best as we can, but most of the time it doesn't. It's they want you. They want your hands. They want your compassion. They want what you have to offer on the table. They don't care if it's in your lounge room or at Palazzo Versace. Like they do probably because they don't want to spend $450 for a half-hour massage.
Yeah.
But you're not to charge $60 for an hour's massage either, because you need to up your prices because you're all worth it.
Yeah.
Any last words, James?
Oh, look, I think that's a great place to finish, actually, Paula. Whether you're doing marketing or any other business activity, the ability to just step in and actually do the work. And when I say that, I know it sounds like we made a bunch of mistakes and had a kind of a slow learning in some places and ways. And so then what we did was we created some trainings to just help other massage therapists to kind of shortcut that whole journey. And so different people are at different stages. Some people might sort of identify with Leisha when she was very first starting, some with maybe when they're just stepping into running a clinic or hiring staff, some with getting the whole kind of management and actually making the whole thing work really well, profitably, saving time. And we just sort of have different programs that help people across all of those different ranges. We also do a whole bunch of free stuff like this. We've got our own YouTube channels and Facebook pages and the group, the Massage Business Support Network. All of that is free. Yeah, that's right. This is streaming in there now as well as a couple of other places. And we've written our book, Fully Booked Without Burnout, which is available on Amazon and in person, all that sort of stuff. Paula's going to pull one out. I should have had one within arm's reach as well. Hey, there you go. Good work, Paula. So I guess all of that is to say we do a bunch of stuff, but really if you are looking for help and you're just wondering, are James and Leisha the right people, there's a bunch of free things that you can do before you have to step into thinking about our paid services. And so I'd encourage you to just connect in, reach out. If you've got questions, just ask us. Have a look at what we do in the support network and all our content on YouTube and on our website and everything. And take it from there. You can learn a lot.
And you've been very, very philanthropic. I think that's like you very gifting. You're people say that about some of the stuff that I do as well. Like I would have over 300 videos on YouTube, and like I think that this is all about giving people skills to. For me, it's giving skills to be able to treat clients and patients effectively and get them pain free. And yours is about getting them to get the clients and patients in the door.
Yeah, better business outcomes.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to just be open with what we do because we've had a lot of support from the community as well, right? As you probably have too, Paula. Yeah. And so it's very easy for us to just be open to share a lot of stuff that we know. Other people share in our groups and that sort of thing as well. There's a lot of value in there from the community. And we are blessed then to receive a lot of that support as well. Lots of people know us and will join our programs, come to our live events, buy our book and all that kind of stuff. It's actually a really beautiful community to be part of. Honestly.
It is a really good community. Having been there for a little over 12 months myself to help me get myself up to this level. And the takeaways I think is that, well, at least I feel like Leisha and I are a little bit similar, that you don't mind if you fall down and get muddy, then you just go, well,
never back up again, right? Yeah, that's right. And that in itself is a business skill. I know we're talking about marketing tonight, not mindset so much, but being able to just make mistakes and then kind of fail quickly and get over it quickly as well is actually one of the secrets to growing a business.
Exactly. And don't be scared don't wait. I'm waiting. I've got to have the best clinic. I've got to buy all the towels. I've got to just like Leisha, I was the same. I used to treat in the front room of my high-set Queenslander in Albion, and I had chickens, and I never cooped them because I can never coop anything. And the chickens, I could hear them pecking.
That's great. What an experience. So it's part of the sound therapy, Paula. It's part of
it's chick therapy.
Chicken therapy.
I do know that you guys go, it's just do it, just start. Yeah?
Yep, definitely. And the quicker you can do things, the quicker you get results. And so even if you do something and you kind of get it wrong and you only get half the results you thought you might, you're still getting half the results, right? Whereas if you wait for ages and get everything perfect, for that entire time you're getting no results at all. Yeah. So it actually works better when you're building a business to just keep moving quite quickly and don't wait till things are finished before you think, I'm going to do all this stuff for like 6 months and then have a launch. It's like, no, don't launch
think.
Early.
Yeah,
don't think, just do.
think think brings fear and doubt. And you go, oh, hang on, because we all want to do it as best as we can, but most of the time it doesn't. They want you. They want your hands. They want your compassion. They want what you have to offer on the table. They don't care if it's in your lounge room or at Palazzo Versace. Like they do probably because they don't want to spend $450 for a half-hour massage.
Yeah.
But you're not to charge $60 for an hour's massage either, because you need to up your prices because you're all worth it.
Yeah.
Any last words, James?
Oh, look, I think that's a great place to finish, actually, Paula. Whether you're doing marketing or any other business activity, the ability to just step in and actually do the work. And when I say that, I know it sounds like, oh, that's something, superheroes do. They get in, they do it, they feel really strong and motivated. But the truth is, a lot of the time on that journey, you don't feel motivated. You don't know if something's going to work or not. You feel a bit confused and a bit frustrated. Yeah. And the real strength is in being able to do stuff anyway, even when you're a bit confused and frustrated. And clarity comes afterwards, after you've done something, you know whether it worked or not. So you've got perfect clarity after the fact. So you take action first. Action precedes clarity. You do the action even when you're frustrated and confused, you get the clarity. It's a good way to go forward.
And that's exactly what you get when you are going through your diploma and further on, or for diploma, etc., is that you do your treatment, you complete the treatment, and then you sit back and you do your reflective practice on it. You go, what were the results? How did I go? And it's the same. You're just applying the same skill sets that you do in your clinic to your business.
Yep, exactly right.
So, James, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for those people that did pop in. As I said, we're going to be dropping this into a recording, and we'll get it out to our different groups for you to get as much value out of it as possible. James, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure again. And we'll get Leisha at another time to unpack all of her genius, because she's got as much as you two on board.
Maybe more. No worries. Thanks, Paul. It's been a pleasure being here. I love it.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, James. Bye, guys.